Hi, let us discuss SA 520 Analytical Procedure. What is an analytical procedure? Conducting audit procedure with the help of significant ratios and trends and inquiring into the reasons for unusual fluctuations. Following are the some form of analytical procedure. Before moving into the various forms of analytical procedure, it's better to understand certain basic rules. The substantive analytical procedure is a study of two variables which have linear and direct relationship. Thumb rule number one. Thumb rule number two, the information should be comparable. The information for the current year should be compared with that of the previous year and preceding previous year. In such case, it will become a trend analysis. The information available during the current year should be compared against the budget and standard. That will give a variance analysis. And the informations available during the current period should be compared against that of the similar information of similar industry. That will call inter-firm comparisons. So these are certain basic concepts of the analytical procedure. Let us move into the standard definitions. What is the meaning of analytical procedure? It means evaluation of financial information and evaluation of financial information with the help of analysis of relationship among both financial and non-financial data. What are the peculiarity of the analytical procedure? Some thumb rules. Comparison with comparable informations for prior period, that will call trend analysis. Comparison of anticipated result like budget or standard or forecast, it is called the variance study. And the similar industry information for inter-firm comparisons, this can be performed either a simple comparison of two variables which may be related, which may be financial or non-financial, or a complex analysis such as the advanced statistics techniques. What are the objective of conducting analytical procedure? The objective is to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence by using substantive analytical procedure, that is the trends, ratios, which we will come details in later point of time. And second objective is design and perform analytical procedure the near end, that is called the timing, when the substantive analytical procedure should be conducted. It should be conducted at the near end of audit. Why? To conclude whether financial statements are consistent with auditor's understanding of the entity, to ensure that the analytical procedure should be conducted at the near end of the audit. What are the characteristics of substantive analytical procedure? What are the factors which affect the substantive analytical procedure? 1. Suitability of particular substantive analytical procedure, reliability of the data to be compared, development of exceptions, difference of record amount from expected values, that is acceptable, tolerable error, and the intolerable errors. We will discuss one by one the factors important for deciding substantive analytical procedure. Suitability of particular substantive analytical procedure. The analytical procedure selected should be suitable for particular items. They are generally adopted for the transactions which shows a consistent pattern so that the comparison can be made. For example, gross profit ratio in case of stable industry is an example. However, such comparison of gross profit may not be suitable for public sector undertakings. They will adopt some expense-based comparison method technology. Second quality factor number 2, reliability of data to be compared. The sources of information available should be reliable. Auditor should get the information from a source, independent source outside the organization. Comparability of information is available. The information available should be comparable with that of previous period or the similar industry in similar firm or that with budget and standards. Controls over preparation of informations. That should be some authenticated exercise. The last year audited financial statement is an authentic source of informations to be compiled. Development of exceptions. The main purpose of conducting such substantive analytical procedure is to find out unusual fluctuations called exceptions. Auditor should develop an exception report, exception from the normal practice. Their exception should be sufficient, precise, so that misstatement can be easily identified. Those exceptions will lead to a hint of the risk of material misstatement. If the risk of material misstatement is high, auditor is required to obtain more persuasive evidence as per SA 330. The risky items acceptable difference should be low. For higher ROMM case, the acceptance level of difference should be kept in a low level. If the difference is more than the acceptable difference, then auditor shall inquire and investigate into the address the possibility of the misstatement and rule out the cause. Analytical procedure that assist in forming conclusion. Auditor shall design. After designing, perform analytical procedure. The timing is the near end of audit. Why near end of audit? To understand, to conclude whether financial statements are consistent with the auditor's understanding of the entity and the environment in which it operates. Thus, it helps in forming an opinion on financial statement. Investigation of result of analytical procedure. If there is unusual fluctuation, auditor has to investigate the reasons how the investigation is being carried out. First is the enquiring with the management. After that, obtaining a persuasive evidence, a sufficient and appropriate audit evidence, and address the overall risk which is identified. Exception report. Perform other audit procedure if necessary where the circumstances required. So this is our small discussions about substantive analytical procedure. Thank you for watching the video with me.